everybody. Welcome back to another thrilling episode of the eyeBytes podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel, and with me, as always, the Harley Quinn to my Joker, Sajandeep. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, those wondering what the hell that was, that is actually the main villain of Batman and Harley Quinn, his main squeeze.
I just pictured the Joker on that deck of cards.
Yeah, yes and no. That's the same guy. No, not the same guy, but he was inspired by the Joker card. But today, we have a very good episode. We have a special guest with us, one of our good friends,
We do.
Mr. Shane. Shane, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, good to be here. Good to be here.
You're the second official guest we've had since we started 3 years ago.
Glad to be here, boys.
That's awesome.
And thank you for listening, guys. I know you said you love listening to a podcast, so
Yeah.
now that you're on it, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Now, we have to ask you, like, what kind of stuff do you like? We know you really well. You told us that you are a DJ, and I'm just curious to know, like, how did you get into DJing?
Oh my, that's a good question. It was something that I was always into from a very young age. Now, when I was 5 and 6 years old, we'd have this big old stereo, and I put records on it, and especially when people were around. And I used to like playing the music, and people would listen to music. Now, I didn't know what that was. We're talking late 70s here. I'm 52, so just do the math. And when we were talking to Thomas Edison, about his electricity inventions and stuff back in the 70s, we would, I never had no clue what this was. But 1981, a song came out that totally rocked my world. At 8 years old, it was called Stars on 45. And you ask guys my age who are in this business, and they will all say the Stars on 45 changed their lives, because it was the first time that I'd heard of the concept of a DJ, someone who played music in front of people or on the radio. It was like, wow, this is like so awesome. And then over time, as I got older, I always wanted to do it, but then I felt that there may be some issues with vision and stuff in terms of being able to read and all, proficiently, whatever. And I come to find out years later that there were many DJs who were visually impaired and blind who had successful radio careers. But going back to when I was about 21, I was going around. I went to this bar one night, and I saw this guy who was just playing CDs. We're not talking, these guys he wasn't on SL 1200s and nothing fancy like that. It was two Yamaha CD players. One was like a one disc, and the other one was a CD changer, like home stereo gear. And I thought that was so cool. And he was trying to mix, but you didn't have pitch control and none of that stuff. But I thought it was so cool because he could play all this music and people were dancing. It was fun, and I was hooked. I can tell you this was February 12th, 1994. So when this happened. Oh yeah, it stands out. And then I worked hard to try, and it's not easy. Nobody's is going to let you come in their club and use their equipment, and there's always there's yourself, and there's probably about 100 other guys trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. But luckily, I finally started to do it in 1996. That would have been end of July when I signed up to take over a show on our local university, our campus community radio station. And that got me into the concept of programming, in terms of program music and how to put a list together and make it palatable. And then I had my first paid gig in 97. And then over many, many years, I've been working ever since in this field. So I'm coming up to my 30th year now, this year in 96 as a paid DJ.
Oh, wow.
Well, my first actual gig was in January of 2000. I think it was January 20th. It fell on a Saturday in 1996. And it was a crappy gig, but we all start somewhere. I'll tell you, it was a Sony bookshelf system. It was a tiny room. It was probably the size of a little tiny watering hole. And I was basically got really good with the CD changers, and I would use that and a cassette player, like a Sony Walkman, and I hit those buttons, the function buttons, and I got good at it. I got fast. It would only be a second or two at the most of dead space.
Okay.
And then I was able to put together a 5-hour set doing this. I mean, these have humble beginnings. So that was my first gig. Then I did the Mun radio thing in the following year. Then I did the next job and I was using a home CD player with pitch control and a Sony Discman and a tape deck the year after on one of these combination mixer setups with the mixer. It wasn't a proper mixer, but it was for bands, and it had your amp and your mixer all built into a box. You hooked up speakers. And then the following year, it was my first time I actually had a real DJ board. It was a realistic, which every DJ works on. If you're of a certain age, you're going to work on a realistic mixer. As a fact, if you're like of 45 and up. And I did that for a year. That bar closed, and then I was off in for some few months, and then I got into serious DJing because the next bar had turntables. It had Gemini. I think they were Pro 1000 dual CD decks with pitch control, the full professional gear, and an even bigger Gemini mixer. You see a theme here of the time, and the two Tech SL1200s, and a big Power Records. I was spinning vinyl, and I did that for a couple of years, and then basically I went on to other things. I moved into another bar, and it was the first time that we used CDJs. Now, if you're not familiar with CDJs, that's just a quick little term for DJ style CD players, but really it's Pioneer DJ CDJ 100Ss. I used a couple of them for about 3 years. Swapped over to American Audio. That's American DJ's sister company. It's gone now, and that was a pretty cool deck I was using. And so through the years, I evolved. When I got into the 2008, I discovered media players, the Newmark D2 squared, and you put an SD card into it, and you could play music from the SD card, and you just put it with a mixer, and then you had a full DJ set with all the bells and whistles. And in 2011, it was in September, I think it was September the 15th, 2011, I did my first gig using the Denon DJ MC6000 MK1. That's the first MIDI controller. I used it with Virtual DJ, and I used that until 2015 when I went to the MC6000 MK2 running Serato. And then in 2019, I went to Pioneer DJ SX2. Then I went to the Pioneer DJ FLX10. And I also use a Denon DJ Prime Gold Plus. So that's my technical background.
So you went through a lot of different iterations of different controllers and relearning. Like there's a lot of relearning, right? From using computers now with Serato, like you mentioned, like you told me about that application. And recently it allows us now with the not latest, but like, I don't know if it was last year or a couple of months ago, they introduced a new feature where you'll be able to now use Apple Music library.
Amazing. This is amazing. Yeah. Game changer.
Right. So before, like I didn't have, like I know you can use downloaded music now from Apple Music, which is so cool because before that was like all copyrighted. They did none of these things let you use it. So after I saw that news, I'm like, this is going to be freaking awesome. And like I had some library of music before, but now that I can use my own Apple Music library, which grows like every week or so, which is so cool. But like, was it hard for you? Because now you're being visually impaired and low vision. Was it difficult? I'm sure it was difficult, but like, what was the experience like for you? Like switching gears and like drastically, changing from being everything tactile, then now computers. And I know you have screen readers and stuff, but like you have to relearn everything and your business. Was it hard? Was it like were people like? I know DJs normally get a lot of hate from people on stage saying, not on stage. Well, yeah, when they're on the DJ floor, play this music, but then sometimes you get hate because you're not playing it long enough, or you're not playing their music. Obviously, because when they're like drinking and whatnot, it can get messy sometimes. How do you manage that with changing your gears as well?
Well, first of all, you develop a thick skin, or you're not going to last. That's a fact of life.
True.
You develop that just like the bartender will develop a callus on their hands. If you ever get a chance to talk to a bartender, ask them to show you their calluses on their fingers.
Mm-hmm.
It'll gross you out. I've seen some nasty ones, but that's what you do, or else you won't last. The other thing is you also develop almost a sixth sense to anticipate, like so that you regulate yourself when you're doing your sets. You don't go too much down a rabbit hole of a genre, because you always want to keep cycling your music through. So if you're doing a wedding, for example, and you're playing music, okay, say if there's 10 genres that you're going to play, that's actually quite narrow, but still say 10.
Mm-hmm.
You want to stick to say no one genre, no more than 2 or 3 songs. So that way people don't get bored. So, and then you alternate. So you might want to say, okay, I'm going to do 2 or 3 80 songs. Okay. Then I'm going to do 1 or 2 new songs. Then I'm going to go back to the 50s and 60s. Then I'm going to go and do some 70s. Then I'm going to do some folk music. If you're down here in Newfoundland, you're going to do folk music or Irish music, whatever. Or if you're doing say certain groups of say Punjab, whatever. And my God, I look forward to that, because I'll tell you, those guys can party. And
yeah, we can definitely party.
I'm like Redline. You get the Punjab there. You get the Punjab in there, you're going to blow speakers, because you're going to feel the need. Like they're going to outdo your speakers. You get 20 Punjab in the room, your speakers are going to get blown, because you're going to feel the need to override them, and you won't do it. You will lose. Mm-hmm. Your speakers will get blown, and they'll still keep going. And because these guys party hard. And
we do, yes. I'm part of that culture, and yeah, we do party hard.
I love it. And I'll tell you something. And I mean, it's just the same way, like down here in Newfoundland, the same kind of thing. And it drives, if you're not into that, this, as they call it, diaspora, if you're not into it, it drives you up the wall, because a lot of people that are like, in just general society, they don't get it. They see Punjab or see Newfoundlanders or whatever going crazy. They don't understand, because they've been told to basically have a rap their arse and act prim and proper, and then they see us go crazy and whatever, and they're like, "Oh, that's just too much," and they all get all bent out of shape over it. And it's like, no, man, these guys are having a fun time. But anyway, I went off track. See, basically, you always do that. You always try. You know that you're not going to please everyone. You accept the fact
that's true.
You're not going to please everyone. It's not going to happen. You, in some cases, in order to please the crowds, you're going to disappoint some other people. You have to figure out what your priority is in terms of the thing. Now, my priority is the person who knows my name. The person who knows my name is the person who's going to sign the check. Now, we don't do checks much anymore, but you get what I'm saying. Who's going to send me the EMT? Mm-hmm. And so that's my concern, is that's the person who's going to know my name. I don't use signage. I don't use signages at my events, like for weddings and stuff, since they're formal. So I don't like using signs, and I got enough stuff to do. I don't have to deal with a stupid sign. And I know hating on anyone who uses signs at weddings. It's nothing like that. And but I mean, you can only do so much. And this is the stuff, like this is how I survived for almost 3 decades, is knowing these facts of life. Like, and also, you also go online and you see a lot of crap people write that DJ should do and should not do, and you learn over time how to separate based on your own real world experience what's crap and what's real. And now we talk about adaptations. A part of the reason why I've used so much different kind of gear is that some of those things have worked better than others for me. The laptop thing has worked really well for me, because in Serato has a really simple interface. Like I find Serato be as like visually impaired friendly. I've used everything from the laptop on a stand, laptop to the right or to the left of the controller. I've used a 27-inch screen. So I had a Mac Mini when I first went to Mac. I had a Mac Mini, and I had a 27-inch screen running virtual DJ, which was actually quite awesome. That was an awesome setup. Everything was so big, and it looked really cool. Like even people who didn't understand, they'd see me there at the table, and it's this big giant monitor and all the sound. They thought that was amazing, and it looked different. It didn't look strange. It didn't look unprofessional. People loved it, but at the same time, it was a pain in the butt to have it set up and take apart.
Yeah,
one
it
time.
can be.
And I'll tell you a funny story. So my son needed a new monitor, Peyton needed a new monitor. And anyway, I said, hey, what do you use this one? We brought it upstairs. And because I had put it in the stand and taken it out so much, it had gotten really loose. So we put it in the monitor. And when I had it up, all of a sudden it fell forward on top of a laptop and it smashed the screen.
Oh no.
And I looked at the screen and I picked it up. I said to my wife, I said, you got a garbage bag? Why? I took the whole thing, just unplugged it, boom, in the garbage.
Straight in the garbage.
There's no point keeping it.
You're like, it served my purpose.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, like you were saying that, you have your own set of music you play. Like, does the crowd influence the music you play as well?
Well, a lot of times you go into an event, you have certain expectations. The B&G or the client, bride and groom, whatever, will have their requests and stuff. But most of the time, it's rarely ever like what you anticipated. And a good DJ can pick up on those things. They can sense it and they can roll with the punches. And those are my favorite events. When we go into areas of music that are off the beaten path, it's like, okay, I always make fun of this. You go to a wedding, it's the same 75 songs, and DJs say, well, because these are the songs that are most popular. But to me, the best weddings, and you ask anyone this, and I've got the best response from them, the best weddings are the ones where you might start off playing the 75 songs. But after song 15, you start going down these rabbit holes and you're hitting these distinct musical tastes. They didn't expect you to play it. You didn't expect to play it. But my God, the magic is happening. You're creating magic. And then that's when you start getting really good, like lots of 5-star reviews and people promoting your name and, and so you just sense it. 30 years will get you that. So.
Okay.
So like, I know when you first told me about Serato, because I asked you, I kind of needed a DJ app because I was hosting a little, I was going to be the DJ for my brother's birthday party that we did at home. Now,
the party box.
Now, so I have the party box, from JBL, the party box 1000.
Is that the 710?
No, 1000.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's the beast. It's the big boy. Nice. They came out with the newer one, the newer model, and that thing even has AirPlay now, and it has some other stuff as well. And I only have one of them, and I went to Lake Joe in the summer, and they have like a couple of sevens, the 710s, and the bass is so much better on mine, the 1000 though. I mean, it is a lot bigger, and it has a DJ pad at the top, like those little sound pad things, sound bites at the top. So it's kind of cool. But anyway, I use that, and then I use my Rodecaster Pro first generation, and I also use I just bought a Yamaha. I don't know the exact name model. Yamaha 2-deck mix. What do you call that? Mixer? No, not a mixer. What is it called?
What, controller you're talking?
Controller, yes. Thank you. Yeah. And I plugged that into my Mac, opened Serato, and I had my downloaded music. Back then, I couldn't use Apple Music. If I wanted to, what I did was I plugged in my iPad with Apple Music with the aux cable to my Rodecaster Pro, which was outputting all the audio from the Rodecaster Pro to the JBL. So, and if people wanted to play their own music, I had an iPhone with YouTube with like the premium version, and they could like search their music up, and then I just slide that Bluetooth slider up.
That's right.
That way they can take the phone away, away from the table, and they can still play music off of it if they want to. I just had to put that slider up, then slide it back down. So that's how I did it, but it was a little bit more complex. But I did not let the music or the music stop. It was always playing. It was fun. I had a lot of fun.
That's so important, because I think a lot of times with people, you find with the older generations, they don't understand why you should not let the music stop, because they grew up with live music where you'd have guys and they'd finish the song and then they go, what are you going to play next? We're going to play this song. What key A or key D or G or whatever. Yeah. And then they got to get tuned up for it, whatever. And you're probably looking at, a good band could probably switch songs. If they're really good, they can do it instantly. If they're decent band, like 15, 20 seconds. And then you get the ones that don't have no chemistry and it can take 5 minutes. But if you're a DJ,
Never
I mean,
let
you
the
don't even
music.
have to beat mix. Like just as long as like the thing is like I approach it the same way like casinos approach certain things. Like for example, why there's no natural light in a casino, why there's no clocks on the walls, because they don't want you to have awareness of time.
Yeah.
When you stop the music and the music stops, what happens then is that people start coming back to reality and they say, what time is it? And the first thing they see, they look at their Apple Watch, whatever, or they stay their distraction gets caught. And next thing you know, they're aware of the time, and all of a sudden they're going and you want them to kind of, I won't say get in a trance, but it's like you just want them to get lost in the experience of being with friends and hearing good music and whatever. That's what you want. And when you, even during dinner, when you constantly, as I like to say this is the way I like to say it, when you constantly put sound into their ear holes,
Yep.
it's so much better, and it makes you stand out. It's like, wow, okay, this does not sound like, oh, there's gaps. I mean, even Apple Music and Spotify have acknowledged this because now they've all added mix over the past
auto
couple
mix,
years.
yeah. And with music that you have, if you have Dolby Atmos music back to back lined up, it does a really good job. It does a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Now, I had curiosity. So, what? There's some of the songs I always heard when I was at a wedding or something. Like, is I Knew the Bride? What was the other song there? Moni Moni.
That one you mentioned, I Knew the Bride when she used to rock and roll. That is particularly known for Newfoundland and East Coast weddings.
Okay.
Newfoundland and Cape Breton. Yeah, that's, you don't really, I looked it up. It's not commonly played anywhere else. Like,
well, we play in Ontario. We always used to play it. Like my brother and my sister's weddings, we always play that. Granted, they got married in the 90s, so it was like it was popular back then. That, or it was I think Billy Idol, Moni Moni was another one that was really popular.
Oh, still is, yeah.
But there was another one that we played in our specific family, and I'm curious to know if this is common in other weddings as well. But if like the tradition we have is if a niece or nephew gets married before an uncle or an aunt, that uncle or aunt has to dance the duck song in front of everybody.
Wow.
Wow.
So I don't know for those who wonder what it is. It's like I think it's like so that's the one that we. So when my brother and my sister both got married, I had a couple of uncles who were not married, so they had to dance that in front of everybody. So is that duck song something that's played in weddings? And have you seen like what are the reasons why that song might be played if it's played?
Okay, so the thing about weddings, depending on the market you're going after as a DJ, you may hear it more often than not. In other cases, depending on the market you're going after, like if it was a bougie wedding, then you may not hear it as much.
No.
So because they tend to be more, you see the bougie weddings is more like, we want to hear hipster music, and we want to hear this other stuff that nobody else knows and stuff like this. We don't want to hear none of this old stuff. This is our parents. We don't like it. And it all depends on what you're going after. But I mean, I know we have bay weddings here. And the bay wedding is just basically equivalent to a rural wedding. And bay weddings are really fun, but they're not, there's nothing romantic about a bay wedding, trust me. A bay wedding is a big drunk. As a matter of fact, you can go, when I was a kid, it's not so common now, but you still go to places in the middle of nowhere here, like on like different islands. And someone mentioned this to me a few years ago. When they get married, they will, as they're coming out of the church or whatever, or they go down to the harbor, they start shooting guns off.
Wow.
They do that in India too, yeah.
Yeah. That's
really
wild.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Not there, but like there's a different timing though. Not the same timing, but we do have but now they have more strict. The police is way more strict now because there were some casualties that happened.
Yes.
Because in India the houses are open, so you can actually go to the rooftop from the inside.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are sitting up there having, I don't know, on the phone or whatever they're doing up there. Maybe just at the lookout or whatever. I don't know. Some people like to sit up there and I don't know, look at the moon or something, whatever, right? And then I think there's a party going on. Sometimes somebody shot up in the sky and one of them like hit them. Yeah, So that's why, and there were many cases of that. So they're way more strict now. You can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But it was a big thing back then.
But these places that probably still do it here are places where there's not a cop within 200 miles.
Oh, it's an open village.
I mean, and by the way, Indian food is starting to take off here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because
That's awesome.
we have a place not far from me. It's called Spice X, and I believe he's Punjab. And the thing is that it was formerly like a convenience store which would cook meals. They found a way to blend Indian food and Newfoundland food together, and people are losing their minds over it. And they found a way. Yeah, and they found a way, and it's not just other ones. And they found a way to blend in, we're not talking like cultural assimilation. We're talking merging, like fusion. And it's, I mean, come off it. Newfies love salt beef. India went to friggin' war over salt. So, I mean, or something like that back in
the best
30s.
way to make any food Indian is just put spices in it.
Yeah.
To make it
Which
nice
is
and hot.
something we're not used to, but I think we are starting to kind of get into it because in Newfoundland, he said spicy Newfoundland is salt and pepper. And but I think now people are open. They're opening up to new kinds of tastes and stuff. And I think there's a lot of common traits. I've come to realize that a lot of the ways of looking at things, like you look at, say, like a lot of it is based on small villages or small or communities. It's a very, I could be wrong here, but I sense that there's a sense of cooperative, what's the word for it, groups coming together and helping out, basically helping each other out. And that's what keeps brings the communities together. And I think it's those similarities that makes it a successful thing, a relationship. I've done many weddings here, quite a few, where people here have married people from India, and it's worked out very well. And you would never think, but I think I was talking about this with a cab driver yesterday. I said the problem is that everybody's going out of their way to find differences in everybody, and it's like, instead of finding differences, let's find the common traits. And I think if you find the common traits, then you find that we're not so different. And being a wedding DJ, I can tell you there's a lot more similarities. And I've been to Indian weddings, I've been to Egyptian weddings, I'm trying to think now, Czechoslovakia, all these different weddings. And they're not that different. I have people like it doesn't matter. If you are of a certain mindset and you're looking for differences in people, you will find those differences. Even if they came from the same house, you'll find differences. But if you're looking for similarities, you'll find them as well. And that's the part about weddings I love. When you see people who are unlikely to ever associate with each other come together and get along, have fun, and be like a happy family. It's touching. Like it's what keeps me going in this industry, because sometimes it's not always fun being in weddings. It's not always fun. But 900 weddings. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry about that. I also attended weddings with other cultures, not just Indian weddings. I've been other places where there were two different, there's some Indian families at a different kind of wedding, different culture wedding, so to say, and we play our music. And then I see that our people are going, and then they play, some English music. Then they're teaming. But then near the end, once everyone kind of knows what kind of style and how to dance to that music, they're all there, and they're having fun. So
dance is one.
Yeah, now it's just one exactly. So
you said that's exactly right. Like in my case, if I was to do that, I'd go in. And I mean, I'd encourage the clients to give me a list of songs, and I will tell them this is my experience. But certainly, this is how I can get this music. Don't worry about it. Just give me the music, and hopefully, of course, it's certain kinds of languages, like with certain types, they use different characters altogether. But still, if you can find me the English or the however we do the alphabet, do that. That way I can get these songs. If they're on Apple Music or YouTube, I can get them in advance. Even when I'm at the gig, I can get them because I have a Samsung Z Flip 4 that I use exclusively for data. And I can get those songs. I would much prefer to do that beforehand so I can listen to the songs and figure out where they can fit.
Because you need to know that, like, how fast they are, the beats, and that way you can merge them together, right? Because if you're like, for example, if someone like tells you a song, you're like, oh shit, this is very slow from what's currently playing. Let me go play something that I can merge in slowly, or maybe slow down the other track, and then find a proper place where I can put this. So if you do that beforehand, then you can you have an idea like where this song may go.
Look, if you were to get there and say, okay, someone comes up and they got this song that's clearly a really slow song, like a waltz or whatever, and you're playing a song that, say you're playing music that's 122 beats per minute, 128 beats per minute, which is moderately fast. Your house music is 128, and but say, and your hip hop is like your 90s hip hop would be about 88 to 97 beats per minute, roughly 100, and then you got your like more lighter top 40s about 110. And so anyway, if you're in a situation like that, and say you played 5 or 6 upbeat songs, and if it's early on in the night, you might say, you know what, I should probably play this song. In that case, you got some tricks you can do. People don't expect, like at a wedding, people are not expecting like long club sets of 45 minutes long. In actual fact, that's actually going to work against you because you'll wear people out. And a lot of people, like grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle, or as we say down here, nan and pop, are this is not something that they're used to. They didn't expect it, and to them it can be quite unsettling, like or bland, depends on how they look at it. So in that case, it's like, okay, you played 3 or 4 non-waltz songs. I could probably play something. So in that case, if you're playing a song that's 120 beats per minute, you can start fading out the song towards the end, and then you can do your talk set. You can say, all right, ladies and gentlemen, or all right, folks, because I think they're trying to get us to not use ladies and gentlemen now. I still use it because I'm an old guy. And
no, but why not?
Always, Well, it's the whole gender thing.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah. So 52 genders, something like that. But anyway, so then you talk over it as the song fades out. You say, okay, this is your waltz or whatever. It certainly helps if you got a name. If you got a name attached to that request, so you say, okay, this is going to John and June. I'm thinking of Johnny Cash and June Carter. This one, and then you play the song. And in that way, it's a great pop cleanser thing to do so that people aren't like getting whiplash because you're playing the song, it's kind of fast. And also you hit them with a wall. It's like you play the song, you say, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to slow things down now. We're going to send this song up to John and June or whatever. And as you're talking.
It's good for like lunch or, sorry, not lunch, but like for dinner or snacks. You can like slow it down for a bit. And then turn it back.
You have to like when I first did wedding, all the things I've ever done weddings includes doing ceremony music, ceremony AV, stuff like this. Yeah. The hardest thing that I've had to do, the biggest challenge, was actually incorporating slow songs. And because I worked in bars, and slow songs were death for the bar, because if you got there and you played a slow song and you're in a bar, it's almost as bad as just turning off the music. Yes, you get people on the floor dancing, but a lot of times, we call it down here, you get the guys trying to hook in. So they're going to say, come on, you want to go out for a walk? Want to go out on the street, go for a walk, get some fresh air? And you say, okay, yeah, let's go. Next thing you know, you got a bunch of people going to leaving the bar. You basically ending your night quicker. Whereas if you play your songs, your upbeat songs throughout the night, people are getting thirstier, they're dancing more, they're staying longer, they're going to go to the bar more. Because they're going to want to replenish their fluids with alcoholic beverages, which is actually not productive in that endeavor. But that's the way the bar industry works. So I did that from, like I said, 1996. I did my first wedding in 2008. So I had 12 years of this habit, and it took me about 12 years, I think, to break myself out of the habit. Where the point where I started playing more. I always did slow songs at weddings, but it was always a situation where, can you play a slow song? And now, I'm to the point now where I know how many slow songs to play. I know like the sequence in terms of the how many songs at first part of the night you might play a slow song, say every 25 minutes, which is still actually quite spread out. I know guys that play a slow song every 3 to 4 songs at the beginning. I'm like, okay, boss, I can't do that. So I'm going to say every 25 to 35 minutes. And then as you go towards, like when you do the tosses, let's say around, and I'm just going by, most of our weddings go from say 9:30 to say 2:00. That's the time frame. And so that's not including your dinner and your cocktails. And so you do your tosses. Usually, if you're doing tosses, you do them around 10:15 to 10:45. At that point, after you do your tosses, then you go from 10:45, right up until say quarter after 12, 12:30. You might play 1 or 2 slow songs. And so it gets high energy. And then when you go to 12:30 and you start bringing them back in again, more sing-along tracks. For years and years and years, I would literally I might play 3 or 4 songs and I play a slow song. And then I might go from, say, quarter to 10 to about 11:30 playing all fast music. Meanwhile, Nan and Pop don't know what to be at because they haven't played a slow song. You cannot get 2 86-year-olds to do fast dances anymore.
Yeah.
They'll get killed. They'll break a bone. And I'm not stereotyping. I mean, it might sound like I'm stereotyping, but that's based on fact. The only thing they can do is do a waltz. That's it. And so you'd have someone coming over and you come up and say, can you play something for the older folks? And meanwhile, you're doing this wicked mix set. Like, oh my God, this is like James Hype or something like that. That's the only one I can think of right now, like current DJ that's got the on the international stage. And it's just like, oh. And then you hate that person because how dare you interrupt my mix set. You're preventing me from achieving my dreams of glory and fame.
Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But that's
on that time, like you feel like and see that people are like flowing and they're having fun, and then someone like really wants you to play a different song. You don't want to hurt their feelings too, so you're gonna have to include them in somehow as well. But then someone else, like all these other people, you got to break their their thing. So it's not easy.
No. So out of curiosity, so if you have like a young man, a young woman who are both vision impaired and they want to get into DJing, what are some of the recommendations or suggestions or tips you'd give the younger generation?
I'll tell you why. For DJing for me was a situation where I was not good at anything else, to be honest with you. At least I didn't see myself, or at least be gainfully employed at anything else. Many of us who are visually impaired or blind did not see ourselves or were given the opportunity to be good at anything. At least anything that was gainful, that you can make money from. There's something that happens when you find something that people will pay you money to do and you get a reputation for it and you're a dominant force in your marketplace. There's something that does to your self-esteem. That's one reason right there, I think, why people, if you have that talent or potential, that you should look into. It's a great way to meet people. How to get into it, I think now, like when I started, if you wanted to do any DJing, you go up to a bar and you say, oh, okay, can you hire me? Whatever. That might work. But now it's not such a key. Now you can do like, okay, you can do mixed CDs or mixtapes, but really it's just pop. You can get an account on Mixcloud. You can MIXCLOUD, or is it MIXX? Anyway, you can go and you get a pro membership, $15 a month. You can go put these mixes up online. You're not going to worry about copyright strikes or anything like that. You can also go into ChatGPT, and I've done this, and ask ChatGPT to come up with a list of songs, look at your genres, and say, ChatGPT, give me a list of 40 songs or 30 songs, and if you want to do a certain kind of mix of a certain type that will not get flagged or copyrighted strike or whatever on YouTube. And then you also say, I'm willing to accept the fact that I'm not looking to monetize from these mixes. They're for promotional. ChatGPT will create you a list of songs. They will create a disclaimer that you can use. I've done this several times. Works flawlessly. You don't get, the worst that'll happen, what they will do. So the worst that'll happen is you get this email from, it says, unfortunately, you got this. They claim to the song. But the thing is that they will say you can't monetize. Well, who cares? I wasn't planning on monetizing anyway. This is not the end result. This is a way for me to get exposure. That's an option. The other thing, they'll give you pointers and they'll say, keep your songs, transition to a new song every 90 seconds or less. When I start doing this, I stopped having music that was being like basically muted. So I got mixes up on YouTube, whole mixes of popular music, because I used music that's available, like that GPT said, okay, this is what you use. Then I use those in my mixes and then create these mixes, you put them, never had a problem. Outside of just being warned that you're not being monetized. I have no copyright claims. I have no copyright strikes, none of that stuff on my account, knock on wood. Another way you can do it is you can get the audio files you're going to use.
Yeah.
You put them together in like iMovie. You get like a still or a bit of video if you want to. You create a mix, like not a mix, but just like a sequence of songs. Upload to YouTube and just don't publish it, or you can publish it but set it private. And then YouTube will go and it will let you know what happens. Matter of fact, it'd be safe, just put it in a dummy account.
Oh, so if you like put it on private, they will still check and they will let you know if this is be able to maybe monetize or not. All right,
but
cool.
but for like to be extra careful or cautious, create a free account. And put the mix up there. Like it's not really a mix, but just a bunch of songs put into iMovie, play like a file.
Yep.
And it works. It will let you know what, and you can see what will be muted and what will not. If you go with a 90-second transition, you should have nothing to worry about, especially if you use and you go to ChatGPT and you say, name me another 40 songs, name me another 40 songs, name me another 40 songs. And you can even say, okay, is this song with this, how would this song work? And they'll sometimes, not only that, but they'll also tell you, they say, this song will not be playable in Liechtenstein. Well, that's not going to break my heart too much if I can't be heard in Liechtenstein. So, or South Sudan, I'll have to accept that fact that people in South Sudan won't be able to hear my song, or my mix completely with a big gap in the middle. And even then, you can go in with the editing tools. You can take out the mix. You can take out that spot, which is still is kind of screwy because it sounds a little chopped and screwed. That's what you have. You have Twitch. You can go and set up your studio on Twitch. A lot of people do use the Rodecaster for the interface.
Yep.
You can use that. You can use SoundCloud. It's pretty good.
A big one. SoundCloud's a big one.
Yeah. I mean,
you mentioned ChatGPT and you mentioned YouTube. Two things I want to just mention. First, Apple and Apple Music and ChatGPT, they're working together. So you can use Apple or ChatGPT and Apple Music. They're working on combining it. So because I think ChatGPT already has access to Spotify.
It does.
Yeah, so they just announced that they're working with Apple to add Apple Music, so you can get it to basically make playlists for you using your Apple account. So another thing, I don't know if you ever came across this video where this girl on YouTube, it was quite popular actually, when shorts were a new thing. And she said, "What do DJs actually do?" Even do, and then some DJ like took that video. It's like, what do DJs actually do? And it made some crazy thing, and it was pretty cool.
I'm gonna tell you this. There's a gentleman.
Yeah.
And there's a show on AMI, and it's about business.
Mm-hmm.
I think his name's Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a show. He's a serial entrepreneur.
Okay.
And I met him before. Now this is something that I'm not sure, and I'm positive it's the same guy. He worked at the CNIB, and he was the dude with the entrepreneurial program. He came down to Newfoundland, and I met him, and we were talking about, like, this is around COVID, and we got on the topic of DJing. And the guy was totally blind, and he was a DJ. He DJed in clubs, and his goal at the time was getting to restaurants. And so now he's doing a show, or at least as of the summer, on AMI, and he's totally blind, and he's done DJing. And I got some pointers off him in terms of, because look, let's be honest, most of us who are visually impaired will probably go blind someday or will lose a significant amount of sight. It's a moving target. It's rare, contrary to what I was always told as a kid. It's rare that if you're visually impaired, that your vision will always stay the same. It's a constant battle. So anyway, just because you got 20 over 200 or 20 over 400 doesn't necessarily mean that you will always have that. And that you always have to be open to those possibilities that you may lose some of that vision, or if not all. And he got me thinking about it. I've had some problems over the past couple of years, 10 years of my vision. I have Fuchs dystrophy, and I've had cornea transplant, and it creates a lot of havoc. Everything is cloudy and stuff, and I have to constantly put salt water drops in my eyes, which stings like the dickens, and I have to do all these things. But I've also known a guy by the name of Jay Taylor, who's a local guy who's visually impaired, and he's lost a lot of his sight. And so, and I never really talked about this yet, but I've been working on adaptations to help me DJ long term. Should I lose this sight? Like, I'm going in for the new year, I'm going to get a repeat of the cornea transplant, and I'm hoping this time it'll work. And something else, a pupiloplasty. And so he got me thinking about it, and I met other guys. He said, well, you can go in. He said, when you record your files, he said, take your song, and then at the beginning, say the name of the song and the artist. You say, okay, Nelly's Hot in Here. You say, artist, Nelly, song title, Hot in Here. And then you put that with Hot in Here. Set cue point at Hot in Here. So that way, when you hit play, you're not going to hear your voice come over and introduce the song. It's just going to be just like no one will be none the wiser. But if you're going through and you're listening, you can get the information in your earpiece quickly, in your headphones quickly.
Right.
And the other thing I'm looking at too is maybe if for people that are totally blind or significantly blind, is incorporating. So on your laptop, you've got, for example, if you're using a MIDI controller, you've got the channels for the MIDI controller that's going to your controller, and then you got the headphone jack. You take the synthesized speech, whatever jazz, whatever you're using, run that to your headphone jack, then you run that in through like one of your side channels, so you got channel 3 and 4, your center channels, 2 and 3, your center channels in your mixer. This is with a 4-channel mixer. You take that one, you put it on, say, channel 1. So then you keep that cue on all night. As you're mixing your music and stuff, you've got synthesized speech coming in through your headphone jack, your Serato, your virtual DJ, tractor, whatever, is coming through channels 3 and 4 through your MIDI, or your that particular way. And that way, that's one way that I'm looking at, seeing if say, someone who's totally blind can DJ with more than just, using a left-right analog feed from the computer to a speaker or whatever. So, these are the things that I'm thinking of. And
that's good. Interesting, man.
Can you buy one ear cup or no?
Well, I know you can get them. They're hard to find. I put them on my head, and I just got the one, and I just have the other one off to the side.
Yeah. That's what I did when I was doing it. But I was just, because I remember back home in India, I went to a wedding, and this guy I don't know why I remember this, because I was like 10 years old.
That's wild.
And I just remember that this guy had his thing on his, beside his laptop, and then whenever he wants his ear, picks that thing up. I don't know if he just broke a pair of headphones and just has one just to check.
I'm sure he did.
I've seen DJs do that before, especially like when you're looking. I remember in the 90s, I grew up watching like Much Music and seeing like MC Mario and some other DJs back then who did that kind of stuff. And they oftentimes had like one ear cup in the ear, just so you can hear the environment and hear what they're mixing.
So what they're doing. So what they're doing. And I mean, there's two ways of doing that. So I'm of the old school in that regard, because I'll hear it my cup. My left ear is what I use is over my headphones, and I use my right ear to hear the house mix. Now, a lot of the guys, they'll use the split cue, and then they will mix using their headphones, which is pretty interesting. I mean, that's a pretty good way to mix. If you're in a big room, and that's the thing. Like if I'm in a small room and I'm near my speakers, I'm not going to have an issue with delay. But if I have, and for anyone who's listening, delay is exactly what it is. So it's sound travel at something like 600 feet per second or something like that. I don't have it in front of me, but it's enough that after 30, 40 feet from, you can really pick it up. And if you're trying to get the beats on par, like on sync with each other, unless you're using the sync button, you're going to have some difficulties. You have to somehow in your mind have to do the mathematics and adjust accordingly. You can either use split cue or you can have a monitor next to you so that you can hear them. Now that brings its own issues because then you have to be aware that if you use the microphone, you're going to have hard instances of feedback, especially if you put your mic on the table and it picks up your monitor and whatever.
Yep.
You don't want that. So you might want to use split cue. But that would be in a situation like you're in a big like gymnasium. You want to use split cue. You don't want to use open air because you will just crash and burn. You will have so many problems. It'll sound terrible.
Okay. And then I have another question. If you've been doing DJing for so many years, obviously with all that loud music, it's not good for your ears. What's like one way of like protecting it that we don't kill yourself?
First of all, I do not put my music up to the point that I don't find comfortable.
Okay.
I don't care what anyone says. And I've never had anyone ever say to me, oh, your music's not loud enough. No one's ever complained. Because at the end of the night, when I shut off the system, I don't want to get there and have because I know what it's like is when in my younger days, I don't want to get there and basically for the next 2 hours, just hear constant ring.
Yeah.
And people trying to talk to me and hardly being able to hear them. I don't want that. When I turn the music off, I want it to be just like if I never had it on in the first place. And
so where is it at? Like usually like 70%? Like how many decibels what do you say?
Where I'm sitting to, I try to keep it like about 92, 93 decibels where I'm at.
Yep.
And even then, if there's less people in the room, I'll try to pull back. Like if my Apple Watch goes off and I see 95 decibels, then I'm like, okay, it's time to pull back just a little bit. Just keep an eye on it. And it just makes everything run better. And now it's a situation where it's also occupational hazard too. In Europe, they've been really strict about this for the past 2 or 3 decades. They've gotten strict about it in the States, and I believe in Canada now, it's starting to become something that people are aware of. And what people got to understand is that whenever Apple does it here in Canada, the whole hearing aid thing.
Yep.
When they do that, what's going to happen? It's going to be the same thing that happened when they brought in the whole AFib measurements. All of a sudden, people are going to be aware of it. And then when people do these hearing tests and stuff, they're like, oh my God, my hearing is just shot. And then what are they going to do? They're going to blame the DJ, especially if they worked in, say, bars and nightclubs and entertainment venues.
Yeah.
They're going to blame the DJ. So the DJs we have to change the way that we're doing our music. Because, I don't want to get there by the time I'm 65 or 70 or even 60 and have terrible hearing. I know several people now that have terrible hearing.
It's not good, man. It's terrible.
I'm telling you right now, it really messes up your social life.
Oh, yeah. It does.
Yeah.
No, my dad has hearing problems too. When he used to drive a cab, like he drove a cab for like 20-something years. Yeah. And to pass time, you need to do something, like keep yourself occupied somehow, right? And his gig was talk to his other buddies who are driving cab, but then he would use like a Bluetooth. Like before, you could use you could put your phone up to your ear, but then there was a law that you can't have your phone up to your ear because your elbow is blocking your vision. So they're like, okay, you use an earpiece or something. So my dad started buying those, But then over the years, I guess he started putting the volume higher and higher and higher. He didn't even realize that, and now he has a problem with his hearing. And then I bought him AirPods. Now that whenever he's like watching TV, especially when he's alone anyway, he would put his phone underneath the TV and then use the live listen feature.
Yeah.
That way it boosts the audio, and then my mom doesn't complain that your volume is so loud. So, but like I have a system downstairs too. I bought a Denon AVR receiver with 7 channels surround sound, but I made a system for 5.1.2, so 2 height channels, and I put the limit at 70%. 70 is quite a bit, right? It's quite a bit, and then you can go way higher. But then I noticed the speakers started blowing out. Right? I'm like, I don't want anybody, because trust me, I had an amp, I had a Yamaha amp. My mom bought I cannot believe this. My mom bought a 5.1 surround sound system from Walmart for like $200. It came with all the speakers and everything.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Two small little tower speakers. It was quite good. Okay, for the time anyway. And my amp broke, or it wasn't turning on, or something was wrong with it. Or there was no audio coming out of it. So my dad took it back home in India because it was a lot cheaper to get it repaired. So he got that repaired. But in the meantime, there was my brother and my dad's birthday falls on the same day. But we were having a birthday party. My cousin had an amp, but he had a lot more powerful amp than what I had, right?
Yeah.
And I plugged that amp in, working fine. But when you're drunk and you can't hear much, they tend to put the volume high. Yo, by the end of it, there was some smoke coming out of the speakers. It was wild. I saw that my speakers started sounding tinny now because they were blown out. And I'm like, okay, yeah, so I don't want that kind of thing. I could not believe for like what price I got. Like Amazon had a nice sale last year on the Denon AVR receiver. I got a $2,000 AVR receiver for $1,000. Saved $1,000 there, and then saved a couple of hundred on each speakers as well. And I'm like, you know what? This is like a good system. I do not want to ruin it. So I'm putting a volume limiter. And also I found a way, because there's an app to control the AVR, to update it and everything. And so, there's a lock on it you can turn on. So like a software lock, so no one can change the settings.
Oh my God.
So
That's wild. Like, I mean, I'm still amazed because we used to get the receivers back in the mid 2000s, mid-aughts, and he used to come with this little microphone, and you put it in the middle of the room, and it would calibrate your speakers. To the.
Mine came with that too. Yep.
Yeah. And I would imagine it's a lot better now than it was when I had, because I had a Pioneer receiver downstairs, and I don't really get to use it much now because I just.
Well, again, new technology now too, like DTXX or Dolby Atmos, Dolby Surround, that. Like it's crazy.
Atmos is amazing.
I love it.
It's how did they? It's amazing. How do you get this sense of like 5.1, L2 speakers? And it's amazing. It just basically it just uses delays and whatever.
I couldn't even believe that there's a difference in the subwoofer. Because I have a subwoofer that supports the DTX, the Denon 12-inch subwoofer. That thing supports Dolby Surround as well. And when you play Dolby Surround like movies or music from Apple Music with Apple TV, dude, the bass is like rumbling. It's not that one that like kills your ears. It's the rumbling bass. And you feel it through the couch. It's not even behind. It's in the back. You're usually supposed to put the subwoofer in the front, but I don't have room in the front. I guess I could put it where my the other room is there, the furnace room where my TV is on the wall there. But the problem with that is then it will just shake the whole entire house. Right now, it already shakes like the back end of the house. But if I put it in the center, the downstairs and the basement, everyone will complain. So
what you got going on there is that to get that kind of bass, you're looking at about sub 25, sub 28 hertz.
Yeah.
And because the human hearing can only go down to about 20.
Mm-hmm.
When you get below that, you're going to infrasonic. Or when you're doing infrasonic, that's like if you live near like a highway or a road and there's like a big transfer truck coming, but you hear the hum, but yet your glasses are rattling like crazy.
Yep.
And you can't figure it. That's because it's sending these sub bass through the walls
that you can't hear,
affecting your glasses. You can't hear it, but it's still there. Do you know in movies when they had 1975 when it was the first movie to use Dolby Surround, I believe it was, and you employed 18 hertz frequencies around that, and to kind of give, because apparently if you emulate this particular frequency, it can evoke a sense of dread in people on a subconscious level. And in order to do this kind of bass, they used to put these big, giant 30-inch subwoofers underneath the screen. They're massive. They're bigger than 18 or even 21-inch subwoofers.
Okay.
And this would enhance the fear factor of watching Jaws. This is 1975. Mm-hmm. The Jaws came out, and they were fooling around with sub 20 hertz bass. And I mean, that's insane if you think about it. And the thing about bass too is that the lower the bass, it's more omnidirectional. Like it's harder to pinpoint where the sound is coming from.
Yeah.
As you're going down lower on the bass. Whereas like if I put 4 speakers up around you, and I put a tone of 10 kilohertz or 5 kilohertz or 1 kilohertz, you can easily pinpoint where it's coming from. Now we go down lower, 60, 50, it gets much harder for you to determine where that bass is coming from.
Gotcha.
So by the time you get down to 30, it's just all around you. You just feel the bass, but you better have you need the cones and the power to be able to push that level of energy through the air.
Right.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Sound is so cool. Like with even echolocation, how people navigate. Like I saw a video where this guy used to make clicking noises, and then he could skateboard down the street, and he could tell there's a car in front of him. Because the echolocation is so cool.
Well, it's all about using senses, but like people think, okay, you're blind, therefore your hearing's better. It's not that. It's just, and I'll give you another example. Depending on your ear, your brain learns to make the most of the information that your ears are sending to it. And it's like, for example, when you get older and you start losing some of your hearing, and I was reading about this the other day, and this is kind of cool. Even though you can't hear certain frequencies, it still affects how you enjoy the sound. Like even though you can't hear them, like your mind, as you get older, your brain trains to listen to music. And so a 20-year-old can hear, say, a song a certain way, but not really appreciate it in the same way, say, a 70-year-old can. Even though if the 20-year-old heard what the 7-year-old could hear, they would say, geez, that sounds muffled.
Yeah.
That sounds, lifeless. But yet the 70-year-old can tell you, okay, that's coming from vinyl. That's coming from CD. Okay, that's a compressed file.
More experience.
It's just their ears are trained.
Yep.
And it's all the same principle.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually pretty fascinating, man. I lift my hat to you, Mike. That's pretty incredible because I tried doing that when I was a kid, like teenager, doing a bit of DJing with like CDs, but I wasn't as good as you. But
it's all about passion too, right? If you don't have, I'm not saying you didn't have the passion or whatever, Dan, but I'm just saying that if you have the passion and you really want to learn this stuff, you'll just go down that road automatically. You just want to learn more. If you don't want to learn more, you'll back off. But if you're really interested and you want to learn and you say, oh, this is not too much work for me, I can do it, then you'll just go that route. But if you're going to say, oh, this is like a lot of work, to learn and all this stuff, that means automatically you'll just know that this is not for me.
And the other thing too is with, like, in your case, Daniel, if back in the 90s, you might have thought that was cool, but the thing was, maybe at the time there was a bit of information that was missing from your understanding, that if you had that information, you could draw a line between point A to point B, and that might have helped you. And at that point, if you had that path, then you could work towards that.
For a part, I remember when I got a little bit older and iTunes came around, and they had the iTunes DJ playlist on the iTunes app, and then you could have another app you could download on your mobile device or iPod, and you could actually connect to a library and then request songs that way. So I was actually playing around with that, trying to see if I can get that to work if ever I went to like a family get together and playing music. But I never really followed through with it. But I was like, I could have seen myself doing something pretty cool with that. But
I think now, even then, I think Apple created this new thing where, again, everyone has to have Apple Music, right? A lot of people are using Spotify as well. I think you can have one host, like Apple TV, for example. I don't know if like phone or iPad will work too, but you can like get everyone to connect to it, and then they can DJ from their phone, basically. Just request a song, and then it will switch over to the next song.
Remember Anchor?
Anchor, yeah.
That started out kind of like that. Like, well, you can do podcasts, but you could do your own little mix shows like on your phone,
right?
Because I think Spotify about that.
Spotify about that, yeah.
Yeah, and so
that's what we use now to publish our podcast. We use Spotify for Anchor now, or Anchor.
Yeah. And I mean, love the color of the logo. The Midnight Blue is really nice.
Thank you.
You know, it's really clean looking. But you know, there's all kinds of ways. And you know, the thing is, like for you, Daniel, to DJ, if you wanted to DJ, you may be satisfied doing something as simple as putting out a mix. You may be, or like with the whole, like doing a collaborative thing with other people and discussing the music and putting these mixes together. Like you may not want, like, because as much as it is like fun doing what I do, there's also a lot of it that sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear the same songs over, but I know this is what people want, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm going to have to hear Moni Moni until my ears bleed out. Like I'm going to have, you know, and I'm going to have to hear, but when you, like, from my perspective, as much as I just find Moni Moni like just repetitive, but
Oh yeah.
I know myself, like when I'm there and I need to get the floor going, and then I love the song. Not because I love the song, but because I know the reaction I'm going to get. I know the floor is going to be full. I know that, and I know that I can put it as a part of a mix. If I decide to do a mix, I know that you can do Moni Moni, and then you can mix in the Billie Eilish's Bad Guy with that. Pretty similar. Or Michael Jackson, Billie Jean. With Billie Jean, you can mix in Shook Me All Night Long. You shook me all night long. When you get to the drum part, you can do that. But there's something else though that's really cool. I don't use a lot of stock music. I will use a lot of music from remix services that have the intros and outros. So basically, it's like, okay, you shook me all night long by AC/DC. Unless I'm doing straight, you know, okay, play song, hit play, song ends, hit play on the next one, hit play on the next one. But if I'm actually doing mixes, I've got almost pretty much any song that I use, I have intros and outros. So basically, it makes beat mixing those things so much easier, and they're all set up against beat grids. And what's really cool about that, it really puts an interesting spin on the biggest problem at weddings is that most people, if they're trying to mix, say, like EDM music, okay, fine, Danny, you can go in and mix those things. But the thing is, you can't live off EDM music at weddings all that much. But if you could find a way to find these mixes, DJ mix versions of all these other songs, you can mix all these songs in these 3 and 4 and 5 minute, you know, sets. The beautiful thing with that is you get a wedding where you get a lot of requests. Okay, if you got in, say, 15, 17 songs an hour, but instead of doing that, and now you can do, say, 25, 27 songs, you've just taken care of another almost dozen requests in the same amount of time that you would have done it the other way. And on top of that, people think you're amazing because you can do all this awesome blending, and you're not just limited to EDM or top 40 because you got these special mixes. And then you got like companies like Ultimix, Funky Mix, Select Mix, X Mix. There's tons of them out there that you can get your hands on that really, I hate using this saying because it's overused, take your set to the next level.
Yeah.
And just to kind of give you an idea, that I use this, I use these kind of mixes so much. And like when I was saying to you about Billie Eilish, Bad Guy, I haven't done it much now because the song is so kind of forgotten about now. It's not written, but this is back in 2020 or 2019 is a Billy Eilish. So Moni Moni, Bad Guy. And because I had the versions of them, it was just like, okay, I got mom and dad who are dancing to Moni Moni. Then they got their 16-year-old daughter who likes Billie Eilish. All of a sudden, they're going from, if I just played Billy Idol and Billie Eilish, they will get off the floor by the time Billie Eilish comes in. But if I'm playing Billy Idol and all of a sudden the beat for Billie Eilish comes in, out comes daughter. Mom and dad still think they're listening to Billy Idol. All of a sudden, now they're stuck hearing Billie Eilish saying, "I'm the bad guy." You know, and, you know, just give you an example. I haven't done that mix in, about 3-4 years. But, you know, just give you an example. Old time rock and roll by Bob Seger.
Oh, yeah.
And I mixed it in with Hurt So Good by John and Cool Mellencamp and stuff like that. That won't work because it's similar people would listen to those two songs. And so it'll just keep them going longer. And, and then I'd mix in, I got a mix of Love Shack.
Oh, classic B-52s.
Yeah. And then I got a mix of Billy Joel's Uptown Girl, which mixes over. Yeah, I mix over, say, like Uptown Girl for that Love Shack, and the way it sounds. And then you go, is this do, and they just loop it over for, I think it's like 32 beats or 64, I forget now. And all of a sudden, and you got the B-52s, you maybe cut your bass out on B-52s, so they're kind of doing the Love Shack over this do, and all of a sudden do. It's like, and you hear like Billy Joe, and it's like all of a sudden it's just like a slap upside head against like 150 people dancing. They didn't expect it coming, and you get cheers. Like you wouldn't normally get cheers for, and that's when the magic happens. Is they didn't expect it. They're hearing Love Shack, and all of a sudden they're hearing Uptown Girl, and it's just like, whereas if I just played Love Shack, I would have given those people a chance to get off the floor, and then I had to rebuild the floor again. Hopefully they like Uptown Girl. But in this case, because I've got the two songs sewn together so good, seamless, they're forced to stay on the floor.
Right.
And
that's why it's very, really important to know your music.
Yeah. And a good DJ plays the hits that people dance to. A great DJ plays the songs that people didn't know they wanted to dance to.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like if you can, and that's the thing. It's like, for example, old time rock and roll. We found Billie Jean. Now, Billie Jean and old time rock and roll. We look at those two songs. So most of the people who listen to old time rock and roll are going to be north of 60. Most
Not necessarily.
of the people,
I love that. I love that song.
But like it identifies with that age group.
Exactly.
And I mean, just like there's people who are 20 that like jazz, like Coltrane and stuff like that from the 1940s. It's the same thing. Now, if you take Billie Jean, which is considered for those 60-year-olds because of their age and their life biases, whatever, some of them are going to think that Billie Jean is that's R&B or that's whatever, more soul, whatever. That's not really my thing. That's MTV music. And that's more for people that are, say, between 30 and, say, 59. Just give an example. Now, we play old-time rock and roll. We go into the Billie Jean. They're still going to dance to it because they're kind of stuck in that weird where they're still dancing. Now, if that person's having a good time, when they're dancing to Billie Jean, that song is going to become a favorite for them. Because we all like songs that we are exposed to when we're in certain moods, when we're open to those songs. And that's the other thing. We can get people to dance to songs that they wouldn't normally never dance to. Then I think we've done ourselves a good job. So.
Right.
Wow. Well, we could sit here talk for hours about this stuff, but we're already past the hour mark. So I think what we'll do is we'll probably split this into 2 episodes. If you want to, because we're over an hour. Normally we keep it under an hour, so it's very this is all awesome information and great to also catch up with you. But do you want to stay for the second episode to go over some of the mainstream news, or?
Yeah, love to.
Awesome. All right, now you have anything you want to plug your business? I know you do DJ. You want to plug your business and.
I use the term Robert Evans of Behind the Bastard uses, pluggables. Love that podcast. We got the pro membership of that one. But anyway, my website is Shane the DJ, SHANE, the THE, DJ, just DNJ.com. And I don't use Twitter anymore. I think it's X now.
It's X now.
And that's my way. You can pretty much type in Shane the DJ. You shouldn't have a too hard time to find it on Facebook. No. Shane the DJ Entertainment and Full of Boot Services is my Facebook. I don't like Facebook, but hey, that's where the people are. And I mean, you can find me anywhere on Instagram. I think Shane the DJ on Instagram. So that's it's not hard to find me.
And you do travel, no problem, if you have
enough money. You got enough money there, I'll travel.
The right price, yeah.
Like Ted DiBiase said, every man has a price.
Of course, yes. And Saj, in case you're wondering, that's a wrestler from the 80s.
Oh, okay.
You're talking my language, man. 80s language. I miss that language. But awesome. Thanks a bunch, Shane, for joining us.
Yeah,
for,
thank you,
this.
Shane.
Very much appreciated. And we'll have you on the next episode. But I guess we'll plug our stuff now because we have to pay the lights somehow. But if you guys want to reach us, have any questions for ourselves or for Shane as well, you can reach out to Shane or ourselves. We have an email, eyebytespodcast@gmail.com. You can reach us on X. Saj, can you tell me what our handle on X is?
It is eyeBytes
Podcast.
Oh, it is. Okay, sorry, my bad.
Podcast, yeah.
Sorry, the YouTube
X.
is eyeBytes. Sorry.
Yeah, YouTube is at eyeBytes for there. But again, I was one of your hosts, Daniel, with Sajandeep and our wonderful friend Shane. Thanks a bunch, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
See you guys. And thanks, Shane.
Welcome.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was